Hey guys, I'm Justin.
I'm Eric.
Welcome to the BCom Bar Crawl.
Otherwise known as the Leadership Manifesto.
Today we're going to talk about a lot of things that we learned in BCom 512.
And of course we're going to do it at a couple of our favorite bars.
All right, let's go. We're here at Hula's. So hey guys, welcome to Hula's Modern Tiki on Central Avenue. This is our first stop. We're going to talk about our leadership ideals.
The reason we chose this is where we did all of our peer coaching. And what we're going to do is we're going to order a drink that we think represents each other's leadership style.
Yep. All right, guys. So what we're going to do is give each other our drinks that we think represent each other. So I chose a drink called the Tiki Bastard for Mr. Eric right here. Here you go. One of the reasons that I think that was really interesting, the reason I picked this drink for you, is that you, on Hogan assessment, tend to have low adjustment, low in-person sensitivity. And so sometimes you can come off a bit brusque and a bit forward when you meet new people, but it's slowly and very openly replaced by warm feelings once you get to know people. But in that first kind of initial impression, you tend to be kind of brusque and kind of bastard-like.
It's like actually one of the things that I know I need to work on, because I can come across, especially people I don't know, I do come across sarcastic, and it takes a little while to understand I'm joking around. So I think that's one of the things I can really do to help be a better leader, is slow down, ease into it, get to know the person a little bit before so they understand my sense of humor a little bit better, which I admit's quirky, but there's no hard intent, and I just really have to work on making sure I slow it down. All right, Justin, for you, I ordered the Dr. Funk. And the reason why I ordered that drink is you're the one personality, you got a really big personality, you come into the room, you are the doctor of fun and stuff like that. So one of the things we went through, and you had mischievous, colorful, imaginative, all those things that can be distractors are the things you need to really keep watch of and make sure that you're keeping them under control and not letting them turn from a strength into a weakness. So for you, Dr. Funk.
All right. Hey, guys. Dr. Funk. Cheers. So I think it's actually really appropriate that you ended up getting me a Dr. Funk, because I do consider myself to have a really boisterous, fun personality. And most of the time it's always kind of worked for me, but I think what's one thing that's a detractor for my personality is that sometimes I can potentially come out as not caring as much and almost too informal in certain scenarios. There's a lot of times where I just I put fun in front of formality, and because of that, sometimes I can, in a workplace, I can be perceived as not professional. So for me, moving forward, I have to learn that I have to understand who my audience is, so that when I go into one of those rooms, that I know that I'm using the right level of fun and formality, and I'll kind of balance that over time. I also tend to showboat, so we have to figure out kind of how to balance that as we go. And that we kind of, this is the reason why we're doing the video right now. Right. So cheers to you. I think this is actually working pretty damn well. Did you just try to suck on the leaf? One idea. Okay, Eric, so one of the things that we were talking about in this class a lot was, what does our leadership ideal look like? What does it mean to you to be a leader? So why don't you tell me about the type of characteristics and ideals that you want to put into the leader that you want to become?
So for me, I think when I've been the most successful leader, it's when I'm in an environment that's very collaborative, very team-oriented. One of the things I've really worked on as I've matured as a leader is being able to empower my team. Though later on when we discuss some of our Hogan assessment, we'll realize some of the things I get in trouble there.
In the form of sales, sales is really much an individualistic goal. It's you getting rewarded. It's you getting the prize. You getting the commission.
Exactly.
But in a marketing environment, it's really about having access to professionals that can add their own little piece of the puzzle in order to create a memorable campaign across lots of different formats. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. Where if you consider yourself to be very team oriented, then that's where you need to go.
Right.
Totally, and I think this class has really helped me kind of at least self-acknowledge that, because I don't even think I was even acknowledging that I was doing that before. It was just always kind of part of my personality.
Yeah, I put my fitness
can relate a lot.
where I put all my
Yours
thing
is
and
jovial,
I
mine's
put
sarcastic.
my drinks.
Exactly.
That's why we're paired together, right?
Exactly.
Probably make
So,
it all
hey, cheers.
negative
Cheers to who is Modern Tiki.
Let's move on to the next place.
All right, everybody, we're in the Uber and we're heading over to our second stop, which is the Yard, where we're going to talk about our Hogan assessments and what we learned from that experience. Conversation about our assessments, which we brought with us. We got our awesome. We don't look like nerds at a bar ever. We also want to make sure that we reiterate that we did not drive here because drinking and driving is bad. We took a Lyft, and because Lyft is awesome and Uber sucks. But onto the Hogan assessments, we're going to be talking about things that we did not expect that we saw in there, some of the detractors that we want to work on, and where we're going to go from here. But first, we're going to order some drinks. And what's interesting about this bar is that they have a very interesting drink. You want to tell them about it?
It's called the double surprise?
The double blind.
Double blind. So what we do is we get a beer in a bag. We have no idea what beer we're getting. And then a bucket that has a bunch of little bottles of booze. And we just reach in and blindly pull it out.
Assessments that we did not expect to be there. So that's kind of the equivalent of reaching into this bucket that we're about to do and grabbing some random old liquor out of a little bottle. So let's check it out and see how it goes. Excellent. Thank you. Look at that. Choose your weapon. All right, here we go. I kind of cheated, I saw. I'm going to go deep in the bucket so I don't see what it is. All right, what do we got? Oh, we got some Malibu. Oh, that kind of works. Okay. Little Jim Beam, little whiskey. Little Jimmy Beam. I do like the quality of the double assessments. Let's talk about this. So, looking at the HPI part of the assessment, the yellow part of the assessment, what was something about yours that really stood out to you, and something that you were kind of surprised that you didn't see? We'll throw them up on the screen for everybody to see too.
All right. Well, one of the things that really surprised me was my adjustment and my ambition, because I think really when I look at the adjustment, it's about how you can get along with different groups and how you can adjust, how you fit in and things like that. And I've always really viewed it as I rank high and you stay calm and things like that. So when I've looked at like previous evaluations and everything around that, I've always scored really high. So when I had a low score, I was surprised. And then with ambition, I've always considered myself a really ambitious person. We're in the MBA program and all that. But the thing that really jumped out at me was I had a low competition score. And anybody who knows me, my family won't play games with me because I am crazy competitive. At work, I'm always just driving. It's always about win, win, win. And
so did it have did you have a correlation to your power score at the bottom of the survey on the blue part? What's your power score?
Power score was also pretty darn average. I was right at 59.
And you would have expected that one to be higher too, right? Because of the correlation between the two?
So a lot of it was just, a shock. Part of it though is, as a lot of people know, I'm really not happy with my job right now, and so I've developed a lot of apathy about it, and so I'm wondering if a lot of that's sort of coming through.
Manifested itself out in the time that you took the tests.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And another thing about it, and we've talked about this in the coaching, is I've always also really been sort of the big fish in the little pond aspect, and this is one of the things you pointed out to me. And especially like we get into the MBA program and just some of the other things we've been around is, while I've always sort of been what I consider, may sound a little arrogant, but sort of one of the more intellectual thinkers, one of the more driven people. And when I've gotten around the MBA program, I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of people who are my equal or superior and stuff like that. So I think there's been a lot of adjustment and, pardon us, adjustment. but there's been a lot of that in there as well as the growth opportunity. And so that may have come through in the assessment as well.
Yeah.
So what about you? Anything that really jumped out at you that surprised you or you agree with, disagree with?
I think the interesting one that really stuck out to me was on the detractor on the development part of the survey. I got a very, very low score for diligent. I got a 1 out of 100 on diligent.
Okay.
And I consider myself while I'm of the type of person that would be willing to kind of wash my hands and walk away from something. When it comes to work, I've never thought about not completing an assignment.
Right.
I've never been the guy that's never not stayed late to get the job done. So seeing that reflect itself in the survey as it almost was a personal. I was almost taken aback by the fact that it said that, because I was like, I really feel that I really do give 100% at the job. So it's something that I gotta work on. Is maybe I'm not communicating out as well that I do really care about getting the job done.
One of the things when I looked at yours that stood out to me was you scored, kind of on the lower side of inquisitive, and I don't find that with you at all. Saying like you prefer the implementation as opposed to the innovation. That seems so counter to you at all. So, when we look at this, we can't look at it as pure gospel. Like,
right.
This is who you are.
Right, yeah.
Because I know that's not you.
These are lines in the sand where we can say, at this point in time when you took the survey, here's the way that your emotions and your thoughts reflected itself in the survey. They're still valuable, but you got to kind of take them with a grain of salt, right?
Exactly.
All right, so we've talked a little bit about our personality traits, things that are detracting from our personality, the things that are what we think are really interesting about it. Let's talk about motivations and motives. And let's talk about what you found that was really interesting in that part of the survey. When I looked at yours, I thought the thing that spoke out to me the most about you was the fact that your design score, your aesthetic score was so low. And being in marketing, that's kind of all we do. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it's actually parlayed into the whole thing. All my scores were pretty much average and low, which had me really wondering, like, do I have no motivation? What's going on with me?
Is it because you're old and you want to retire?
It could very well be. Actually, when I gave it a little more thought and I looked about it, and as we went through the PowerPoint class, I looked down that middle line of it, and I thought that was really me. And I looked through the motivations, and one of the things about me is I'm a big compromiser. And I don't view it as necessarily a negative, but what I do is I definitely vocalize my opinion and what I want. But at the end of the day, it's about bringing that unity, and sometimes I know that I have to give up my opinion. I want to be heard, and when you look at some of my other personality traits, it definitely I'm not a shrinking violet. But it really is, I think, one of the things about me is that I am about the compromise, and I do know that for the aesthetics, for example, I've got my idea of what I want to be, but then I will defer to the graphic designer as the expert. And I think that's part of the reason why some of my scores were kind of right down the middle.
That makes sense.
Because like you're a far more, creative person individually with your specific job traits than me, who oversees the overall
creative
process. Yeah, I oversee the process, not the actual creative.
So what did you say? Did you see anything that popped out on mine when you were taking a look that you thought was interesting?
Well, for you is, when we looked at a lot of the traits and things before, we had a lot of similarity. But when we got to the motivators, you were a lot stronger with mine. I expected you to mirror me a little more, but you are far more motivated than me. But once again, you're a young guy.
It's probably it could be less years on the job, right? It could be something like that. But I think what was interesting is that because I have such strong opinions about what work success looks like, it kind of skews itself forward, right? So like I know that I need recognition at work, or I don't feel motivated.
Right.
I need someone to say, hey dude, good job on that, whatever. I'm not necessarily motivated by a commission or money because I feel pretty self-secure, but I need to have someone come up and be like, boom, high five,
right,
it's ready to go. So I think it was interesting to see the extreme motivators on my side versus the kind of the weaker motivators on your side. But listen, we got to go to another bar. We got to bounce out. So we got to take down our little airline bottles here and move on to talk about what our smart goals are.
I think you got the Melbourne room. You got the easier job.
Let's do this, guys. Cheers. Bar number 2. Oh. Guys, melted cheese and Malibu is not a good combination. I don't recommend it. Beer is empty. Little bottles are empty, so we are leaving this bar.
This was horrible. So
Yeah.
we're on to our final bar. We're going to a dive bar. We're going to do our goals. We're going to play a little shuffleboard and really talk about what do we want to do now with all this learning that we've had. Where do we want to be? Can you make a very masculine sea breeze for me?
No, I cannot.
It's a terrible drink. All right, guys, we are at our third location. We're at Pomeroy's, the lovely dive bar right across the street from the yard. We want to talk about our drinks. I've got a Jameson on the rocks.
I have a very masculine sea breeze
He
that I've just
it
spilled all over the place.
himself. We're going to talk about our SMART goals, and we're going to play a little shuffleboard. All right, guys, my first goal is to really focus on being more poised at work. I need to figure out how to bring a level of professionalism to my job to where I can totally understand what scenario is needed, and I'll be able to apply all the fun things that I do now in a good way, but also making sure that I'm professional enough to respect the situation that's going on.
My short-term goal is I want to stay focused on the program, still get good grades, finish strong. I've gotten pretty good grades all along, and I'd like to finish the MBA program real strong.
Okay, goal number 2. I want to get a job internationally. My wife and I have been talking about moving to Japan or Asia for a long time, and this is our opportunity. So within 2 years after I graduate, I want to have my first international opportunity with a multinational company.
So my longer-term goal is by the end of first quarter next year, I'll have my MBA in my pocket, and I like to have a new job that's, once again, focused solely on marketing, get rid of this whole sales thing, where I can really focus on my strengths and my passion.
All right, guys, so that is the end of our bar crawl.
And one of the great things is we developed a friendship that was beyond just this class. So,
And I'd like to thank you for coming on this journey together. I think
Yeah.
we're going to both grow. And cheers to BCom, and cheers to the graduating class of 2018.